What is going on, guys? It's your boy Dylan the Villain. It is Saturday, week 4, July 1997. I have pushed through this month as fast as I possibly can to get to the pay-per-view. We are one more show away from booking, which is Sunday Night Heat, and then we will book the Fully Loaded pay-per-view. This is our go-home show to the Fully Loaded pay-per-view in a pre-show matchup. This is week 4, Saturday. It's time for some Shotgun Saturday Night. It is 18,154 in the United Center Arena here in Chicago, and a pre-show match that had decent wrestling but no heat. Christian defeats Jake Roberts in 13-12 by pinfall. Christian with a 58 and Jake Roberts with a 71. They have good chemistry, great chemistry actually, and it showed in the performance. But Jake was penalized going through personal effects. He carried the match to a 72, so not bad at all. We are going to go ahead and start the show. We only have one pre-show tonight. Not a lot of big matches tonight, but we have a lot of big news here tonight, and we start off with the biggest news of all. Vince McMahon comes to the ring, and he says, as we seen last Monday, we have banned Stone Cold Steve Austin from being in the arena, but somehow he bought himself a front row seat ticket to interfere in the match against Chris Jericho. I know that Steve Austin is a man who doesn't do great with authority, who doesn't listen to authority, who does his own thing, who carves his own path. And I warned Austin many of times that if you cross the boss, then you're going to have hell to pay. I am proud to announce that as of this morning, when Steve Austin arrived to the arena, I had him arrested for assault on my wrestlers and trespassing. Stone Cold Steve Austin will not be here tonight. I guarantee it. I put my money on it that he will not be here tonight, and he will not be here at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view. That Steve Austin will be spending the weekend in jail without bail. So that leaves us to the controversy that happened. Steve Austin placed himself into the matchup between The Rock and Chris Jericho, costing Chris Jericho the match, giving The Rock the win. He also attacked The Rock. That match was supposed to be for the number 1 contendership for Bret the Hitman Hart's World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. Now, as y'all know, last week I made a bet with my daughter against Kurt Angle, and I realize now that that was not fair to jeopardize an opportunity for that young man to be in the main event. So, I talked to my son Shane, and I talked to the board, and we decided that not only will it be best for the competitors in the World Wrestling Federation, but it will be good for our pay-per-view sales, and it will be good for everybody involved, that if we go ahead and give Kurt Angle his number 1 contendership opportunity once again against Bret the Hitman Hart. But you might be asking yourself, well, what about Jericho and The Rock? Well, I'm a man of fairness, and both the men, their match ended in a no contest. We will not say that The Rock picked up the victory, and we will not say that Chris Jericho lose, or vice versa, making it a 3-way tie for the number 1 contendership. Because The Rock did beat Kurt Angle, and Jericho did beat Austin, but Kurt Angle did win the Fatal 4-Way matchup. Therefore, I'm rewarding all 3 men an opportunity to win the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship at Fully Loaded this Sunday. I wish the three of y'all good luck, and Brett, I wish you good luck as well. So there we go. That's that segment. Vince McMahon saying that Stone Cold has been arrested for his actions. He has been severely punished, and he will be spending the weekend in jail. He will not be here tonight, or he will not be at the pay-per-view. We did heard that it will be a fatal four-way matchup between Jericho, The Rock, Kurt Angle, and Bret Hart. I'm sure Bret Hart is not going to be too pleased about this. Along with The Rock, Chris Jericho, and Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is probably happy about the news, given that this is his first opportunity for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. This segment got a 95. We are going to go ahead and move on. In our opening contest, wow, it actually could have did this should have been the pre-show. In an abysmal match, the Old School Express defeat the Godwins in 12:36. When Chris Candido pinned Phineas O'Godwin with a blonde bombshell. Steve Corino was a weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else. Steve Corino with a 32, Chris with a 46, Phineas with a 50, and Henry with a 49. They got the tag team specialists. Jim Cornette did good work at ringside, but Chris Candido is better off without Jim Cornette. They simply don't work well together. That's good to know. The crowd was turned off. Yeah, this definitely should have been on the pre-show. And Chris Candido was penalized going through those. But he is also getting better at his gimmick. We should have definitely made this one the pre-show and gave Jake and Christian the opening matchup. But as we seen on last Sunday Night Heat, Jim Cornette teamed up with the Old School Express and basically said these two guys are the future of the tag team division, and not only the tag team division, but the light heavyweight division as well. We will see. It seems like Jim Cornette has an eye for talent, young talent. We are going to take Cornette off of Chris Candido. Apparently he has no benefit managing Steve, so we'll keep him with Steve and take him off of Chris for now. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is an interview from The Rock. And Michael Cole says, after hearing the news from Vince McMahon, how do you feel? And The Rock says he doesn't care who he has to go against for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. That Michael Cole knows that the people in here in Chicago and people all around America and all around the world know that The Rock is the rightful champion. Even though he ain't the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion, he's the people's champion. And the people want to see The Rock as the champion. And not only do the people want to see The Rock as the champion, but Stephanie McMahon wants to see The Rock as the champion. He also asked about his relationship between him and Stephanie, and if Stephanie is pulling strings for him. The Rock says The Rock doesn't need anybody pulling strings for The Rock. That The Rock worked his ass off to get here, and The Rock will do whatever he has to take to do to be number one in the World Wrestling Federation. He'll do whatever it takes to be number one in the World Wrestling Federation, and he's worked hard to climb up that ladder. And he doesn't believe that him dating Stephanie McMahon or seeing Stephanie McMahon has anything to do with him moving up the card and getting a push. The Rock was number one before he started dating Stephanie McMahon, and he's number one while dating Stephanie McMahon. That Stephanie McMahon has no power in the back to get The Rock matches. This segment got a 100. The Rock also mentions that Vince McMahon, as we've seen, Vince McMahon doesn't like The Rock. He does not want Stephanie dating somebody like The Rock, somebody like a wrestler. Triple H wants Stephanie to date somebody who comes from class, with a pedigree, from a rich family, somebody from money. And as we know, The Rock did not grow up with money. The Rock's dad was a wrestler, and The Rock's mom's dad was a wrestler, making The Rock a third third generation superstar, and second generation superstar, third generation and second generation superstar. The Rock had to struggle, and that's what he's basically saying. The Rock had to struggle his whole life, and he's worked hard for everything he got. Nobody ever handed anything to The Rock. So The Rock's going to go in there. He doesn't matter if he has to go against 100 men. The Rock's going to go in there 100% at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view and give it his all. And this time, he will walk out the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion. We move on to the next segment. They don't click. That's terrible. It did do an 80 though, so that's not bad. And a belt that had great heat and good wrestling. The Big Show defeats Ahmed in a hardcore match in 7:33 by pinfall with a chokeslam. Big Show makes defense number 2 of the WWF Hardcore 24/7 title. Big Show with a 85 and Ahmed with a 61. They don't click. That's terrible to hear that they didn't click. But we move on to the next segment, and the Big Show grabs a mic. We did not give the Big Show the mic, by the way. We gave it to somebody else. But he basically calls out Raven and says, instead of being a coward and jumping him and attacking him, why don't he come bring his... why don't he bring his ass out to the ring? If he wants to put an end to the hardcore division, then he should bring his ass out to the ring and do something about it instead of jumping people to come to the ring and face them face to face. And Raven, Raven appears on the Jumbotron, and he says that's just not going to happen. That Raven is not going to play by Big Show's rules. He's not going to get in the ring to get hit in the head with chairs and trash can lids and slam through tables and stuff like that. That if the Big Show wants anything, then the Big Show can face his right-hand man, Mankind, to get the Raven. And if he beats Mankind, then Raven will lower himself down to Big Show's level and face Big Show. But if he cannot beat Mankind at the pay-per-view, then Raven basically says then they're going to take the 24/7 title and put it in the trash where it belongs. So Big Show got challenged by Raven to a match by Mankind, and Big Show accepts the match. So we will see Mankind versus the Big Show in a hardcore match at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view. This segment got a 95. We're going to go on to the next segment, and it is Rey Mysterio taking on Dean Malenko. The match got a 78. There is reasons why for that, and a bout that had good wrestling and good heat. Dean Malenko, that is not what's supposed to happen, but we'll roll with it. Dean Malenko defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. by submission, non-title, of course, with the Texas Cloverleaf after interference from Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam and the Old School Express run out and attack both men. This is supposed to end in a double disqualification, if I'm not mistaken. I guess not. I guess I didn't book that. It was supposed to end in a double disqualification when both the men get attacked, and Jim Cornette basically says, you may have beat Rob Van Dam on Monday Night Raw, but at the pay-per-view, neither of y'all are going to beat Rob Van Dam. That Jim Cornette is going to do what Jim Cornette has to do to get Rob Van Dam that WWF World Wrestling Federation World Light Heavyweight Championship title around his waist. In that he introduces his newest clients, the Old School Express, and says these two young men are pretty much Rob Van Dam's insurance policy, that Rob Van Dam will walk out with the title and put it into Rey Mysterio's very long reign as the WWF Light Heavyweight Champion, that the era of Rob Van Dam is just begun. And you can bet on that, Jack. This segment got a 95. Jim Cornette always doing good on the mic, man. He's always doing good. Team him up with people who can't talk, and boy, he'll get you some ratings. Just let him talk. We then go on to the Psycho Sid versus Road Warrior Hawk, and Sid picks up the win for his team, just like Vader did on Monday. He beats Road Warrior Hawk. The Road Warriors look like they are in trouble come this Sunday. They have Sid and Vader pretty much has been unstoppable since teaming up. The segment got a 74. This show's probably not going to do too great. Saving all the big matches for the pay-per-view and kind of giving everybody a rest before the pay-per-view. Sid, they do have chemistry together, which is awesome. This match got a 74. Sid picking up the win for his team, just like Vader did on Monday. This might be the end of the Road Warriors WWF World Tag Team Championship reign. We are going to move on to the next segment, and it's Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho gets stopped by Michael Cole, and he goes, I'm sure you've heard the announcement about you being in the Fatal 4-Way. And Jericho just cuts him off, and he's just like, yeah, I've heard. I've heard that Vince McMahon finally came to his senses and seen that Chris Jericho is the future of the World Wrestling Federation. That when people buy t-shirts, they don't buy t-shirts of the Croc. They don't buy t-shirts of Steve Austin. They don't buy t-shirts of Shawn Michaels. And they sure in the hell don't buy t-shirts of Bret Hart. They buy t-shirts of one Chris Jericho because Raw is Jericho. And Vince McMahon came to his senses, putting Jericho back in the match. After he'd seen what Steve Austin did, Jericho got screwed. The Rock did not beat Jericho in the middle of that ring. He had help beating Jericho, and if it was just The Rock and Jericho, he would have beat The Rock that night and moved on. And there wouldn't be Kurt Angle and The Rock added to the match. The match would be Chris Jericho versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Two Canadians in the ring, main eventing a pay-per-view. It's something that Chris Jericho has dreamed about since he was a kid. But he doesn't care. He doesn't care because that means that he doesn't have to beat Bret Hart to win the championship. He can beat an ass clown like The Rock, and he can beat a rookie like Kurt Angle to pick up the World Wrestling Federation Championship and move on to SummerSlam as the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion. That when Jericho wins the title, not only will he win the title, but he will become the youngest WWF champion in the history of the World Wrestling Federation. He basically says it's good that Stone Cold is in jail. It pretty much guarantees that Chris Jericho is going to walk out this Sunday with the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight championship around his waist. The segment got 100. Jericho doing good. He struggled going off script, but he did good. Oh, excuse me, guys. It's kind of late at night, man. I'm trying to pump these episodes out for y'all. We move on to the next segment, and in our main event, yeah, this show did terrible. In a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat, Jeff Jarrett defeats Davey Boy Smith by submission. He was supposed to win the segment 1, 2, 3. The segment got a 78. Jeff Jarrett with an 80, and Davey Boy Smith with a 90. Jeff Jarrett and Deborah have pretty good chemistry. Jeff Jarrett picking up another win here tonight. Jeff Jarrett said on Monday Night Raw, well, it was actually Jerry Jarrett, but Jeff Jarrett said on Monday Night Raw that him and Deborah make a good combination. And with her as his manager, he's going to rise to the top of the World Wrestling Federation in no time. That's all he needed was somebody to lead him in the right path. And Deborah has the track record of managing people who become world champion. So Jeff Jarrett looking to become a world champion here in the World Wrestling Federation. We move on to the next segment, and it is just a hype promo, basically running down everything that we are going to see at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view. We will see a Fatal 4-Way matchup for Bret the Hitman Hart's World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight title. It will be Bret Hart as he defends his championship against Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, and The Rock. Y'all watched this episode. Y'all know how all three of these men got involved here. Who will walk out of that match as World Heavyweight Champion? We will have to find out tomorrow night at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view. We also will see former friends now turned bitter enemies as Shawn Michaels takes on Triple H in a no-hold-bars contest. They are not held reliable for what they do to each other. Both these men cannot wait to get their hands on each other. Triple H said he is tired of being in Shawn Michaels' shadow, that his time is now. After winning King of the Ring, he's guaranteed to go on to SummerSlam to main event for a title shot for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Shawn Michaels pretty much said, you screwed me out of my title. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you do not go to SummerSlam. And Triple H says that Shawn might as well write his will and testament because come this Sunday, Triple H is going to put an end to Shawn Michaels' career and send him packing once and for all, whether he goes home or whether he goes down south, wherever he chooses to go. That Triple H is going to put an end to Shawn Michaels' career to where he is not going anywhere except for a hospital and wheelchair-bound Triple H. We have seen a different Triple H here in the last couple of months that Shawn Michaels has been away. Triple H has gained this new aggressive attitude. He calls himself the game, that a lot of people play the game, but nobody can play him because he is the game, and he is that damn good, and he has proved that he is good. Triple H has gave us some of our best matches. It might be Triple H's time. He's definitely going on to SummerSlam, but if Shawn Michaels has anything to do with it, Triple H is not going to main event SummerSlam for that title. Oh, man, these two men, I cannot promote it anymore. These two men hate each other, and they cannot wait to get their hands on each other in that no-hold-barred contest. And speaking of no-holds-barred contest, as we found out tonight, the Big Show will be defending the WWF Hardcore 24/7 title. The 24/7 Hardcore title against Mankind. Raven and his murder or flock, whatever you want to call him, attacked the Big Show and threw the title down. Raven cut a promo last Monday basically saying that Big Show and the Hardcore Championship is not something that should be put on TV, that hardcore wrestling is barbaric, is idiotic, is childish, is stupid. That Raven came from a company that was like that. And he left that company because they were like that. And they were idiotic, hurting themselves for these stupid fans who enjoy something like that. He convinced Mankind Mick Foley to join him along with the Hardy Boys. He had the Hardy Boys convinced since day one. And he beat Cactus Jack and Cactus Jack went back to Mankind and joined Raven to put an end to hardcore wrestling. So Mankind will take Raven's place pretty much, facing the Big Show for the Hardcore Championship. These three matches are pretty much our three big main event matches going into the pay-per-view. We are going to have some more matches that will be announced at the pay-per-view. We also will see Rey Mysterio Jr. defend his WWF Light Heavyweight Championship against the brand new Dean Malenko and the self-proclaimed, the whole fucking show, Rob Van Dam, in a triple threat match. That is going to be one hell of a match up there, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be one hell of a match for that Light Heavyweight Championship. We also will see Sid and Vader take on the Road Warriors for the WWF Tag Team Championships. And I'm sure there's going to be more matches that will be announced on that card or on Sunday Night Heat, which is the next episode. We will probably see some more matches announced on Sunday Night Heat. But we are going to go ahead and finish the show. I'm pretty sure the show didn't do good. It did an 88, not bad. I thought it was going to do terrible, but it did okay. I mean, it did okay. It's just basically a throwaway show, you know, to on the card here. But we're gonna go ahead and finish the show. We got an 88. Rey Mysterio Sr. Wrestling in a AAA. But guys, I know I kind of ran through this episode, and oh my goodness. Oh wow, Orrin Anderson released. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. They have been doing this a lot here lately. That is how we picked up Dean Malenko, to be honest with you, and I was quite shocked that they did that. Also, that's how we got Deborah. Them cutting down the roster, man. That is crazy. As you see, I'm not tampering with anything. Yeah, man, we are definitely, going to offer Orrin a contract for sure. Yeah. What do y'all think? You think we should give Mr. Orrin Anderson a contract here in the World Wrestling Federation? He is 38 years old. But it's Orrin Anderson, man. I'm sure he will definitely take somebody underneath his wing and give him a good shine. He could be a good manager for somebody too, but we are going to, yeah. Oh, really? Okay. The first time I ever did something like this on screen. We'll give you 65,000 to join us, and we will give you 50,000 sign-in bonus. We want you to work for the next. Yeah, we'll give you 3 years. Whatever's needed. Everything but except house shows, because I'm sure you're gonna not want that. And we'll make that offer. You want a higher percentage of the merchandise. What if I give you an extra $10,000? No, I need you. I'll do everything but house shows. We'll give you 80,000. I ain't going over any higher. We'll give you 25% of the merchandise. And 10% per event. Yeah, we're definitely going to do something with Arn Anderson. Hopefully we can do it. Ted DiBiase would be a good pickup, but I think he's just a manager now. He doesn't wrestle anymore. Maybe we can try to convert him to a road agent. Let's see if he has the skills for it. Where is it? Yeah, he should make a good road agent. I have road agents who are fucking terrible at it. Yeah, oh yeah, he should make a good road agent. We'll give Ted. We wanna. Yeah, we'll give you everything. Oh wow. Yeah, we'll give you 50 fucking grand just cause, and we'll give you 50 grand signed with us. We will never end ring work. We'll only give you 25%. All right. Anybody else to get rid of? Golly, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That they got rid of these two guys on that. Super crazy relocates. All right. Anyway, guys, y'all seen me offer 2 big contracts, which I never do that. But man, that's crazy that they got rid of Arn Anderson and Ted DiBiase. We can definitely do something with Arn Anderson for sure. And Ted DiBiase, we're probably going to convince Ted to become a road agent. I'm pretty sure he'll be a good road agent. He's a pretty good road agent in real life, so yeah. Anyway, guys, it is Sunday. We are going to book, I believe, it is Sunday Night Heat first. But I am Dylan the Villain, and if you are new to the channel and like what you see, click on the Shotgun Saturday Night logo. The subscribe icon should be right there. And if you like this episode and want to go back and catch up before the pay-per-view, the playlist will be right here, so you can go back and watch previous episodes, guys. My name's Dylan Villain, and like we always say here, if you can't play with each other, then play with yourself. Later, guys, and I'll see y'all I'll see y'all on Sunday Night Heat. Then I'll see y'all at the Fully Loaded pay